Hey leaders, happy Tip Thursday. I feel like every time I do like the beginning of Tip Thursday, I sing it. I don't know why, it's just a thing. It's just a vibe, it's a whole thing. So today we're gonna talk about leadership qualities. We're a little behind, but that's okay. So we're gonna talk about leadership qualities. We're gonna talk about courage, okay? If you happen to be a fly on the wall at the SSD trip, you would know that courage is not something that just comes naturally to me. I do not like rides. I do not like heights. Nope. I knew I didn't like heights, but then I tried to go ziplining on the incentive trip to the Broadmoor and realized by like the fourth height that they kept just going up that I don't like heights. Like I really learned that in the middle of ziplining, okay? So courage is not like one of my strong suits. I would never be like, I'm so courageous. that is not something I would use to describe myself, okay? To the point where Whitney actually laughed at me during that one SOAR ride at Epcot. In my defense, I feel like she did mislead me. She said that the ground would stay under my feet the entire time. I thought she meant my feet would stay on the ground. It's not what she said, so I guess she didn't mislead me. I just put it in my own head, and my feet were off of the ground, and it was terrifying, and I screamed a lot. So courage is not my strong suit, okay? So I really, really like this chapter in the book about leadership qualities, and I think it's a good one. It's one that we all need to work on, okay? We all need to work on our courage. It's not something that comes naturally, like I said, for me, all right? But it is a good quality to have, especially in your leadership. So she starts off, the girl does, with a quote that says, courage, it's not one of those qualities. No, it's one of those qualities that's not only admirable, but it's also necessary, okay? No one will last long without courage, right? Everything you do in life, there's gonna be something that you're just gonna have to be like, I'm gonna brave it out, let's do this, right? If you're a mom and you were going to have your kid, I'm pretty sure you were terrified for that baby to come out of your hoo-ha, right? But you gotta have some courage because there ain't no going back. Once you're there, or even coming out of your stomach, once you're there, that baby has to come out. It's not just gonna stay there. You have to muster up some courage, all right? And you just have to do it, okay? It's the same thing, not to that extent, obviously, but same thing when it comes to leadership, okay? So the first section of this chapter talks about I'm scared, okay? And she says the first time that a human actually lied to God, they were scared, okay? One of her examples was Sarah. She was afraid, so she lied. It talks about it in Genesis. Then the first excuse a human ever gave to God for missing an appointment with him was because they were scared, and that's in Genesis 3:10. But all through the Bible, you have all of these people who were called to do something great, but they were scared, okay? And it talks about it in there. So you've got David, Elijah, Saul, Peter, Moses, right? They were all terrified. So, and those are bold names. If you know anything about the Bible, you know those people were bold, strong, courageous people in our minds, right? But they were scared. So even the boldest people are scared at times, okay? So courage can be nurtured and developed, all right, without fanfare, and usually by choice, but it's a small choice. You have to make a small choice to be courageous, okay? You must be brave if you're going to lead and last in your leadership. I thought that was really good. I was like, wow, that's really telling, because I feel like when you first come into leadership, hey, Amanda, that's not something you're thinking about. You're not thinking about all the times that you're going to have to be brave. You're not thinking about all the times you're going to have to stand up for yourself or for somebody else, okay? Or correct something that's wrong. You don't think about all that when you come into leadership, right? If one of your teammates is out of compliance, you have to be brave enough to say something, okay? So it's one of those things that I feel like we don't think about, but it's so true. You have to be brave if you're going to lead and last in your leadership. You definitely need courage, okay? So you need courage in a few different areas, and she goes through them, and then I'll break them up, okay? So the first one is to deliver a dream, all right? That's the first one. So you need courage to deliver a dream. Your team needs to know that it's okay to dream. They need to know that their dreams can happen because of wax and warmers, right? That they can do it, all right? They have to know it's possible to hit their goals. They have to know that dream check is possible, even if it hasn't happened for them, even if it hasn't happened for you just yet. There are people it has happened for, right? So focus on those people and those people's stories and letting your team hear those stories, okay? You can go to YouTube and you can find a lot of different stories, a lot of different people's whys. Okay, I think mine's on there. But you can do that and you can share that with your team. But your team has to know it's possible to achieve their dreams. All right, that's one thing that I know at first Whitney didn't understand, and at first I didn't understand, but that's something I want my team to really know, like from the get-go. If you want to do the work, it's possible. It is all possible, okay? Yes, do it scared. Do it scared. It's not scary. It's not big enough dream. I love that. I love it, yeah. Okay, that's awesome. All right, next. You need to have courage to protect the powerless, okay? And I feel like this is just a good one in life in general. You need courage to protect the powerless. You have to step up. Sometimes you are going to have just, I don't even know how to say it nicely, bad leaders in your group. Okay, you might be that bad leader. And I don't say that to be mean. I was a bad leader. Okay, I was a bad leader at first. Like I was totally in my own world. All right. Hey, Marissa. But you need to have courage to protect the powerless. You have to step up when you have bad leaders. Okay, for those other people coming up who are daring to dream. All right. Sometimes upsetting things happen. Okay. Sometimes you have to have enough courage to protect the powerless and call in support. If you're like, I am trying to handle this, but it is not going well, who do you contact next? Your director, right? And you just keep going up that chain, okay? But you have to have courage to step out and ask for that support. You have to have courage in having people's backs, all right? One of my big things with especially my directors is I'm like, I got your back, but do you have mine? Like we need to have each other's backs, okay? Because leadership is not easy. So we need to have each other's backs, all right? So having that courage. Another thing, having courage to win the war, okay? So many people can bow out when it's easy. And I know it's like, the war, what are we talking about? We're talking about fighting to stay in the game, okay? You do not want to get up and work every day. Duh, that's life, okay? But we got to fight to stay in it, okay? Because we know, we've seen, we've heard the stories of what this can do. We love this business for a reason. We have to fight to stay in the war, okay? So many people can bow out and do the easy. It's easy to say I'm not doing this today. I'm gonna be real honest. I did not sleep last night. And today I'm like, I really didn't want to go live. But you know what? That would be the easy thing to do. Instead, let me have a cup of coffee. Let me go do my trainings and let me go book some more parties. Because that's staying and fighting for my dream. It's fighting for the dream I have for my family, okay? Me coming on and training is even fighting for people's dreams. To give them the training content that they need to get going, all right? So we have to remember that. Don't do the easy. Choose the hard, okay? When we choose to be different, we're going to show others it's possible. When you fight for that, like through that adversity, when you're like, this was such a hard month. This was for my family, emotionally, mentally, and you're fighting through that, okay? When you're fighting through the no's for the people partying, you're going to have stories for other people so that they can see that it's possible during their hard times, all right? I think it was Chelsea Otto, when I very first started to like really dive into leadership that I listened to, and she talked about, I believe, and I could be wrong, so like please don't shame me, but I believe her husband was like in the hospital and had a tumor, and she was in the hospital still working her business, and she did a video about it, and I was like, holy crap, if she can do that, I can get up today because I'm tired and I can go to work. I can get it done. But she did it, and it's blessed her immensely, her working through the hard and the adversity, okay? To be example, to be hope, right? To give other people the courage to do it in the hard moments of their lives because she pushed through the hard. That's the kind of leaders we have to choose to be and have the courage to be, okay? So, another one. We have to have the courage to hold the holy, okay? Now, hear me out. If you're not a Christian, don't jump off just yet because there's more good things, but I just thought this was really good. To hold the holy. If you're a Christian, are you showing Jesus through your business? Are you showing Jesus through your leadership? Okay? That's something I've really been praying about lately, just culture and experience for my teammates and for my leaders. But you have an influence. You have a platform, okay? A very large one to show the love of Christ, to show love and joy. Leaders in general, you have a platform, like I said the other day, to show light, kindness, love, joy, something completely different than the world is used to seeing, because you are a Sensi consultant, and as you bridge that network and it just gets bigger, you have people you don't even know in person coming on to your platform to be poured into, to be loved on. Are you showing what you need to show? Okay? I love that. I think that's amazing. So have the courage to hold the holy. Okay? So, next, have the courage to transport truth. okay? You need to talk about the truth of this business. Stop being so scared that Jan from high school is going to look at you like you're crazy. Who cares? She don't pay your bills, okay? I don't care what Jan has to say. Jan, can you kiss my little brown backside? I'm going to be real honest. Because you like hold the holy, kiss my little brown backside. That's where we're at, okay? Like, I'm going to do me. And if I believe that I've been given this position for a reason, just as you should believe you've been given the position you have for a reason, I'm going to do whatever I need to do to take care of my family, to take care of me, to take care of my team, okay? And to reach more customers. I don't care what Jan from high school has to say. Hold on to the truth of this business. I know what it's done for me, and I'm going to hold on to that, okay? So, you know what this business can do. Hold on to that truth, and then share it. Share what it's done for you. I don't care if it freaking filled up your gas tank. That's huge right now, okay? That is huge and a blessing because you didn't have to use other money to do that with. I don't care if it bought your kid a Happy Meal. That's amazing, all right? It fed a little mouth and now you get to relax, okay? Hold on to the truth of this business. Whether you think it's small or not, hold on to the truth and then you need to share the truth, okay? Because somebody else might need a Happy Meal for their screaming kid in the background and they don't have the money for it. But you did. Do you see what I'm saying? We have to be willing to speak about the blessings of our business, okay? Not in an arrogant way, but it did this for me. It can do this for you, all right? So next, the base. Can't read my handwriting. It's fine. The basis of bravery or the basics of bravery. One or the two. It's fine. I'm like, maybe that was when our plane went down real fast. That was real scary, okay? I told y'all I'm not naturally brave, okay? So like, hang in there with me. Hang in there. All right. So other forms of bravery, okay? Getting uncomfortable with your speaking up voice, respectfully. You can speak up. You can speak up for yourself, and you can be respectful about it. That is something I really had to learn in this business. I actually started reading this book about boundaries this week, okay, for myself, because I feel like I don't do that very well. I'm kind of like, okay, whatever. And usually I'm really okay. Like it really does not bother me. But sometimes you need to have boundaries, okay? So you can, and you might be the opposite. You might have a lot of boundaries and you might not be afraid to say anything. And that is fantastic. But you have to be respectful of your leaders, of your team, okay? We don't all think and work the same. Gotta be respectful, okay? But be uncomfortable with your speaking up voice. What do? That means we're training. That means we're getting uncomfortable and we're training. That means we're getting uncomfortable and we're saying, you know what? That is out of compliance. We're not doing that. Hey, you know what? You're on my team and you're a leader and I'm just going to be really honest. These are the expectations, okay? I really would like you to be able to check in with your people once every 2 weeks. Like it's not hard. Just check in with your people. They're your people, okay? That's okay for you to say. They are Mama Bear. They should be checking in with their people, all right? So remember that, okay? Another thing, listen to valid criticism. I know, it's not fun, is it? Ugh, nobody wants to listen to criticism. But you've got to own your own mistakes, all right? I have a part of my journey where I was not a great leader. I own that 110%. And then I rolled over that and I was like way too much on top of people because I was trying to make up for not being a good leader. Those are mistakes that I learned, but I can own them, all right? You got to be able to do the same thing. Keeping a confidence, all right? And making sure that you're not telling everything to trusted friends. And I say that because not everybody needs to know everything, all right? If you have 2 good friends on your team and you have an issue with your director, your good friends don't need to know all of the details of the issue with your director, okay? Let them make their own determination on that. All right? Stop putting your bad onto somebody else. All right? And that's a boundary your friends need also. That's you being a good friend. It's you being a good friend by holding them and being like, I had this issue over here, but like, we ain't talking about all that. All right? So think about that too, okay? Walking into a room and knowing that people look the part, okay? But you're still all a hot mess. Can I tell you something? If you're going to SFR, you are going to walk into a room and you are going to see people's faces and you are going to be like, oh my gosh, I have seen them on YouTube. Oh my gosh, they are all a hot mess. Deep down inside, we all got issues, okay? So just know that, all right? We all have issues. When I walked in, I was very overwhelmed, like in the best of ways, when I walked into the Disney Institute room we were all meeting in with all of the SSDs and I was like, there's Jilly Sue. Oh my gosh, there's so-and-so. Oh my gosh. I was like seeing all these people. I'm like, there's Wendy. Oh my goodness, it's so exciting. Okay, seeing all these people, like, it is overwhelming, but you need to know that, like, they're people. Okay, they're still people. Anybody that you meet is still a person, all right? So just know that. Be willing to sit at a new table of leadership. That's huge. So when you guys, if you are going to SFR and you get to meet each other in person, be willing to get uncomfortable, okay? You're going to see people from Wildflower Warriors and Simply Grace and Grit, and you're going to see people from Southern Moxie, which is one of my directors, that's Paige's group, and you're going to see people from Stargazing Lilies, that's Lindsay's group. Be willing to just mix with all the people and just love on them all, okay? We're going to meet people from Anchored In. It is going to be good. But wherever you go to any Scentsy event, be willing to sit at a new table of leadership, all right? Don't just sit here and be like, I'm only going to sit with the 2 people that I know. Get uncomfortable. It will be worth it, I promise, okay? And we're all family, so like, hello, just do it. Hug all the people, not me. But everybody else, you give me a high five. No, if you hug me, I'll hug you back, I promise. I might be like, but I'll hug you back. It'll be fine, okay? All right, another thing, intentionally put yourself around people who have different beliefs than you have. We all lead so differently, you guys. That's a good thing, and that's a blessing, okay? You can learn something from someone who leads completely different from you. Like I told the directors today on the director page, there are key things we have to do in leadership, right? But we all are still gonna lead very differently. Those key things have to be done, but your leading style of how you do those key things is gonna be different, and that's okay. So be willing to sit at a table with people who don't think the same as you, all right? Open your mind, grow that mindset. If America had a lot more of that, we'd be in a better place. Can I get an amen? All right, moving on from that. Try a new approach. Be brave enough to try a new approach. You cannot keep sitting here doing the same thing. Oh, I've only done events. I'm not going to book an in-person party. I'm not going to book a Facebook party. Do something different. Try to book a Facebook party. Why not? You've never done an event? Try an event. Be willing to do something different. That takes courage. It's scary. It's very scary, but it's worth it, okay? Worth it, worth it, worth it. And you might even find that you actually enjoy the other thing more than you thought you would, all right? Okay, a new accountability partner or a new mentor. Have the courage to reach out to somebody. If you see somebody on that leaderboard and you're close to them and you're like, I'm close to them on that leaderboard. I wonder if I could bounce some ideas off of them. Message them. Like I said, we're a family. Message them, okay? Message them, talk to them, bounce ideas off of them. Do not be scared. You should not be scared of anybody on this page, all right? Like, you should be wanting to know what they're doing to be on that board, okay? All right, next, be willing to open up about your dreams. I know it's a scary one. It's scary for me, but once you open up about your dreams and you say them out loud, okay, it's kind of like, okay, that sounds a little crazy, but we're going to try to do it and we're going to see what happens, all right? Then you're finding people who are encouraging you in those dreams too. Be willing to open up about your dreams, okay? Be willing to lay down unhealthy and excessive things and relationships in your life. I don't know what that looks like for you. I really don't. For me, I'm going to be really honest. Just a minute ago, it was queso. I have an unhealthy relationship with queso to the point where I went and bought queso from the store, and I told my children, we bought queso and I can't find it, and I was up last night, couldn't sleep, and I'm like, where's the queso? So I'm freaking out about this queso, okay? I know it's a side trail, but just bear with me. Freaking out about this queso. So today we have this tornado warning. We're not watching for it yet, but we have this warning. It's thundering and storming outside, okay? And I'm like, listen, I will give you 50 cents if you run to the back of the car in the pouring rain and look to see if we left the queso in the car. And they did, and we did. And then I ate almost half of it, just standing there in the kitchen, like happy as can be with my queso, my 50 cents. Okay, that's not healthy. Let's just be very clear. Okay, it's not healthy. So if you have, clearly I have an issue with queso, but white queso, only the white queso, it's got, like, we won't even go to a Mexican restaurant if it doesn't have the white queso. We're very serious about our white queso in this house. That might be excessive, okay? Like, what if that Mexican restaurant has really, really good food, but like we're unwilling to go eat there because it doesn't have white queso? Do you see what I'm saying? So we have to be mindful of these things, and that's a silly example, but like it just came to my head. But we have to be mindful of these things in a bigger, broader scope. If you've got someone over here telling you that you can do nothing with Scentsy, and that's a toxic relationship. They don't know. They don't know nothing about Scentsy. Bye. You know, brush them off, okay? No. Like, no, you do not listen. They might bring value to your life in other ways. Cool. Then there needs to be a boundary. We don't talk about Scentsy. We don't talk about Bruno. You see what I'm saying? Like, we don't talk about that together because that's unhealthy for me. I love my business. But we can talk about X, Y, and Z as long as they're healthy in those areas, okay? So, think about those things. Be willing to lay down unhealthy and excessive things in relationships in your life, all right? So, our default, okay? Oh, Marissa, so we're supposed to be getting a Chewy's here. Y'all, their jalapeno dip. Amazing, amazing. We're gonna have to limit ourselves, okay? Our family will limit ourselves. All right, our default is fear because it's easy to stay safe. It is easy. Again, we're not just gonna do the easy things, okay? It's easy to stay safe. It's easy to be like, I'm not gonna put myself out there. I'm just gonna relax over here instead. It's easy, okay? But the Bible tells us, right? God says, do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God, and I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand, okay? To be dismayed, because you know I'm a homeschool mom, is to look around and panic. You ever feel that way about your business? Where you're like, oh crap. I didn't prepare for this month. Oh crap, I'm about to be paid a title, but like, hold on. It's like 11:30 at night. I only have half an hour. What am I supposed to do? You ever look around and panic? Okay? That's what it looks like to be dismayed. Okay? So just know that even though our default is to freak out, okay, and to want to do what's safe, God can do so much through all of that, even in your business, okay? Like he did for Mary, like he did for Peter and Joshua, and even more. Like they freaked out. Okay, would you freak out if you were told you're pregnant with the Son of God? Yeah, I think so. Be freaking out, okay? But like he still did the darn thing. And we have to know that it's going to be okay, all right? We don't have to freak out. We just have to do the work, okay? That is the biggest thing. I have to remind myself of this all the time. Don't freak out. Just do the work. Do the work and your hands will be blessed. But you got to do the work. You can't just sit there, all right? So know that you aren't doing this alone, okay? You have absolutely nothing to fear. You've got this whole group of people, all right? You're not doing it alone, all right? You have nothing to lose. You literally have everything to gain, but you need to follow your calling because you're here on this page for a reason. You're on this team for a reason, in this group for a reason. You're on this leadership page for a reason. You even have, this is real fun, you even have the difficult people on your team for a reason. It might be to teach you something. Right? It might be to give you compassion for a certain thing, but everything is for a reason, okay? So next she has stall warnings, and then we'll wrap up. So sometimes you're flying through life on your way to a God-ordained assignment, okay? But you still go through storms. Literally, it's storming outside today, okay? And you're like, what the heck? The storm is going to vary, right? But we're all flying through them. We all have a storm. We're all busy. It's all hard for all of us, okay? We all have crazy things that we're going through, every single one of us, okay? We're all going through the storm, even if it looks a little bit different for each one of us, all right? So I want you to remember that. But when something gets tough or hard, so on airplanes, they give off stall warnings, okay? So when something gets tough or hard, we personally will give off stall warnings to what we're going through, okay? And our emotions go on high alert, literally. I should have known. When I started reading this, I was getting ready to board, and then I paused and finished it on the plane. And she talked about how their plane went down significantly, and everybody was scared, and it was terrifying. I don't know why I didn't even think of that. Literally the same thing happened, and I was like, ah! Because I don't do heights, I don't do rides. That is not fun for me, and I'm trying to live. Okay, I literally screamed like a nutcase on this. Y'all, my plane ride experiences lately are just not okay. But I screamed because we went down significantly to where my stomach was in my throat. Okay, it was wild, and I'm like, what is this pilot doing? Can he hold it steady, please? Is that not your job? Were you not trained to hold it steady? I don't know, but not cool. Okay, y'all, it was not cool. I was sweaty. I'm like, I can't breathe. It was awful. So anyways, that's basically the same thing that happens when things in our life get hard. We start to give out those stall warnings, and our emotions are now, we're all freaking out, okay? So she says in here, if I find myself frequently living on high alert when there's no real cause for alarm, okay, which was not that flight because that was cause for alarm. When it drops that much, that's cause. She says she probably needs a spiritual, mental, and emotional calibration. So everything getting back in line, okay? That means something's off. We got to figure out what that is. So whether that's you taking self-care time, whether that's you being like, we're worshiping music loud as all get out, okay? Whether that means you just take a day to breathe, you got to recalibrate, okay? Am I saying that right? Calibrate? I think so. Calibrate. Anyways, feelings can be influenced by how we think. Remember yesterday or the day before I talked about mindset? Your feelings can be influenced by how you think. And I'm not saying like, you know, if you have anxiety, you're wrong, because hello, struggling, okay, I got it. But just keep that in mind. If you can remember that, okay, let me control my thoughts real quick. Let me control my thoughts real quick. Let me bring it on back to what's real and what's true, okay? Oh my gosh, maybe you're like, I'm not active and it's the 5th of the month. Okay, but what is May 30 days? 30 days? 31 days? You still have days. You have lots of days. Just get to work, okay? It's okay. You don't have to freak out. Just calm down, center yourself. What's true? I have plenty of time and I'm going to go get the work done. Okay? But you have to actually do the work. All right? That's the kicker to that. All right? But just remember, your feelings can be influenced by how you're thinking. Okay? So she puts in here, she would define courage as doing something even though you're unsure that the outcome will be positive. Let's be real. You don't know if you're going to be an SSD. You could not. You don't know. You don't know, but you can work towards it. You can have the courage to work towards it. You can do the steps you know will help get you there, right? Your 3 legs of success consistently over and over and over again, okay? That's what that is, all right? So you can sit here and you can say, I don't know if the outcome will be positive. I have no idea, but you can still work towards it. You can still work towards those goals and those dreams, okay? So at the very end, she says, let's not live a safe life, not at the cost of courage and opportunity to make a difference for someone else. And I feel like that is the epitome of leadership, okay? Remember, you are not only doing this for you, but whether you want to believe it or not, you have the power to completely help and bless and change someone else's life. I literally told all the SSDs that are like in our big umbrella, I told them that a few weeks ago. I'm like, you guys really realize that like, where you're like, I've trained on this 15,000 times. Their little Anya was sitting there like this, ready to soak up all the information, and you've changed everything for me. By giving me the information and me taking it, you've changed everything for me. You, as a leader, had that same power. You have that same, whether you want to believe it or not, you have that same power. Someone in your group, whether it's now or they're coming and you just don't know it yet, is going to tell you, I am so thankful. This has been the best. This gave me back. This is what I use to hold me so that I don't stay in depression. This literally put food on the table for my kid when I didn't think I could put food on the table for my kid. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, whether you believe that or not, that is just plain facts. If you keep going and you're leading consistently and you're doing what you should be as a leader, that's going to happen, period. I can say that with complete confidence. Because that's what happens. And you're like, I just talked about PRV. But for them, it clicked. And when it clicked, they were able to put those things into practice, and it was able to bless them with a great check, right? It was able to bless that mom with some sanity for something for herself instead of putting everything into her kids. Because guess what? Her kids are going to leave one day, and then what? They're going to college. You think they're going to be all about their mom in college? Probably not. All right? Think you're going to be all about their mom in their 30s? I love my mom, but like, we got a lot going on here, okay? So like, they need something else, all right? So just remember that, like, be courageous, because it's going to make a difference for somebody else. And when you can see it like that, it takes the pressure off of you in a certain way, because you're like, okay, it's not just about me doing all of these things. I know as long as I'm showing up, it's going to bless someone down the road. And that's what matters. Okay? So we're going to be courageous leaders, and it's going to be good. And we're all going to go. Wait till you guys see our SFR shirts. But you're going to go in your SFR shirt and you're going to be like, I'm courageous, and it's going to be bomb, and it's going to be so good. Hey, Mark. So I am pumped for you guys to be courageous leaders. I'm pumped for you to make a difference, not only for yourself, but for other people down the road. Whether you believe it or not, it will happen. You just have to keep showing up, doing those 3 legs, okay? Loving on your teams, pouring into them, okay? And it's going to be good. So let's all go. Let's all be courageous and do the darn thing. We're going to do it scared. All right, leaders. I'll talk to you later.